Chapman News, the downfall of one of the world's most famous celebrities. Bill Cosby was found guilty of sexual assault. We'll have the details and the analysis of what brought him down.
And finally caught, the Golden State Killer, responsible for more than 50 rapes and 12 murders throughout California. DNA led to his capture decades after his crimes.
And how about going over the traffic instead of being in it? We'll show you an aerial tram being proposed as a quick way to get you to Dodger Stadium. That and more today on Chapman News. Good afternoon, I'm Kat Adcock.
And I'm Brandon Lance Garnsey, and you're watching Chapman News. There's a lot of headlines today, so let's get started.
Cosby has been convicted. Jurors found Bill Cosby guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. The 80-year-old was on trial for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand 14 years ago. The comedian can face up to 30 years in prison. Mary Maloney has more.
We found the needle in the haystack, and it was right here in Sacramento.
The man that police say terrorized the state of California for 10 years has finally been captured. Known as the Golden State Killer, the East Area Rapist, or the original Night Stalker, he has finally been identified as Joseph James D'Angelo. 40 years after he began his crime spree, the 72-year-old former police officer was taken into custody outside his home in Northern California Wednesday.
Over the last few days, as information started to point towards this individual, we started some surveillance. We were able to get some discarded DNA, and we were able to confirm what we thought we already knew, that we had our man.
Police pinned 12 murders and at least 50 rapes between 1976 and 1986 on the Golden State Killer. But for years, nothing more than sketches from those who survived his attacks provided any clues. Authorities were finally able to link the cases together in 2001 through DNA, the same evidence that ultimately led to D'Angelo's capture.
For the 51 ladies who were brutally raped in this crime scene, sleep better tonight. He isn't coming through the window. He's now in jail, and he's history.
I'm Andy Rose reporting.
We just had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Wrong thing was shown. Cosby has been convicted, and jurors found him guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. The 80-year-old was on trial for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand 14 years ago. The comedian could face up to 30 years in prison. Now Mary Maloney has more.
Bill Cosby, 3 words for you. Guilty, guilty, guilty!
The case against the legendary comedian centered around Andrea Constand. She says Bill Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted her at his home in 2004.
He used his celebrity, he used his wealth, he used his network of supporters to help him conceal his crimes. And now we really know today who was behind that act, who the real Bill Cosby was.
Cosby's defense team says their interaction was consensual.
We are very disappointed by the verdict. We don't think Mr. Cosby's guilty of anything.
In the wake of Constand's accusations, more than 50 other women came forward with similar stories.
Women are worthy of being believed.
This is the second criminal trial for America's TV dad. The first ended in a hung jury last year. This time, it took jurors more than 14 hours over 2 days to deliberate. Once the verdict was read, several of Cosby's accusers left the courtroom in tears, but quickly expressed triumph.
I feel like my faith in humanity is restored.
We are vindicated, we are validated, and we are now part of the tsunami of women's power and justice.
Cosby, now a convicted felon, is out on $1 million bail. He's under house arrest as he waits to be sentenced.
The fight is not over. Thank you.
In Washington, I'm Mary Maloney.
Joining us today is Emmy-nominated newscaster, attorney, journalist, lecturer, talent agent, and founding faculty member of Chapman University's Fowler School of Law, Gregory Ricks. Gregory was also a consultant at the Richard Nixon Library for both its opening and the memorial of the former president 24 years ago today. He is joining us today to discuss the Cosby verdict. Thanks for joining us, Gregory.
Thank you so much. So this case was tried 3 years ago and was not found guilty, Bill Cosby.
Well, it was a mistrial.
Mistrial, you're right. So now why do you think, what changed with this prosecution?
Well, this judge, same judge, decided this time that he was going to allow more witnesses for the prosecution. So he allowed 5 extra ladies to come forward and talk about how they too had been abused by Cosby and what they had gone through. And it appeared to be the same. He let that in because it showed, in his view, a pattern, and that usually isn't allowed in, but it was in this case.
Right. Definitely.
There's been a lot of publicity about women speaking out about their experience with sexual assault. Do you think the so-called Me Too movement had anything to do with the verdict?
Well, it could have had a lot to do with the verdict because it turns out that the defense attorney, Mr. Mesro, as you saw there a moment ago, talked about the Me Too movement in his closing arguments and indicated that it was, as she said, a tsunami, and that that when there is a removal of a lot of the evidence, and that's a he said, she said, then becomes all about emotion, and there's too much emotion in his case. At least that was the defense argument.
Definitely. And now we've heard claims from Cosby and his team saying that he's going to try to appeal this. Do you think he's going to be successful, and do you think he's actually going to end up going to jail?
It usually isn't allowed to have witnesses try to show a pattern, and this judge let in 5. So that would be a basis that there could be an appeal granted. But Mr. Cosby will be probably remain out on bail while the appeal is pending. So he's not going to go right to jail if that's the case.
Another case that's been in the news, actually just yesterday, was the Golden State Killer, who's also a serial rapist. Do you think these two cases have any relation? Or?
Accused serial rapist. And today's actually the first day that he's supposed to appear in court as well. Do I think they have a lot in common, is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, in this case, there's hard evidence. In Bill Cosby's case, that was a he said, she said. There is no evidence in that case except for who said what. In this case, they have DNA evidence. It's going to depend on where the evidence came from, though. If it's just a pizza box, that's one thing. If it was on one of the victims, that's another.
Absolutely. Well, what else do you think you could say about the Me Too movement? So you know this has been happening recently with the Harvey Weinstein and now the Larry Nassar. Do you think this has really perpetuated the verdict with the Bill Cosby?
Well, that's what the defense attorney is going to argue in their appeal. I have a lot of problems with cases being, as an attorney and former law professor, I have a lot of problems with cases being decided in public opinion. That's why we have the statute of limitations, so that evidence can be presented in a proper way, in a proper fashion, and then somebody can be held guilty or not guilty. And so it's hard to say just how this is going to turn out. It's going to be an interesting case to watch.
Do you have any idea what the sentencing options could be for Mr. Cosby?
Yes. Well, each of the he was convicted on 3 different counts. Each of them carries a 10-year sentence, and they could run concurrently, though. The minimum is 5 years. So if he was sentenced to 5 years or less, then that's 5 years running concurrently. 5 years or less is all he would serve, but he could serve on the outside 30 years.
Definitely.
That's long.
Do you think that if he appeals it, that's going to change anything with the verdict or with the sentencing in particular?
It depends on what happens at the appellate court. They could send it back down and say, you guys have to do this all over again because we found that you acted improperly outside of the scope of the case, or they can throw the whole thing out. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was a pleasure. We'll see you guys next time, right?
Next time, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up on Chapman News, Brittany fills us in on all the internet news we missed this week, from royalty to psychic bananas.
And a close call with a train in Irvine Wednesday night. All that and more coming up next.
And I'm not sure what your weather plans are this weekend, but I'll have your weather for the weekend. Stay tuned.
Stand up for what's right. Chapman University. Passion, perseverance, teamwork, integrity. Create value in the world. The School of Law at Chapman University. Lead. Follow your dreams. Chapman University. History, philosophy, peace studies, languages. Study abroad and explore the world. Become a global citizen. The Wilkinson College at Chapman University. Invest your humanity. Lead.
And now our weekly look into the comings and the goings in the Trump administration. We have a new Secretary of State. Mike Pompeo was sworn in Thursday afternoon as the nation's 70th Secretary of State, after the Senate voted to confirm him by a vote of 57 to 42. Pompeo, most recently the nation's CIA director, replaces Rex Tillerson, who Trump fired, in a tweet last March. Pompeo is in, but Dr. Ronnie Jackson is out. President Trump's personal doctor and his pick for Secretary of Veterans Affairs withdrew his name after accusations that he was a bully, kept sloppy medical records, drank too much, and overprescribed strong drugs. His defenders pointed out he served the last 3 presidents as their personal physician. Embattled EPA Chief Scott Pruitt was back on Capitol Hill Thursday defending himself from charges of lavish spending, ethical infractions, as well as from Democrats and some Republicans who want him out. Pruitt says the charges against him were false and that any wrongdoing was committed by his staff without his knowledge. Among the charges, a sweetheart deal to rent a condo for $50 a night and the installation of a $43,000 phone booth in his office.
It was a walk-in on diplomacy. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un became the first North Korean leader to set foot in South Korea. He literally walked across the border, which happens to be one of the most heavily armed border zones in the world. He's in South Korea for meetings with South Korea's leader Moon Jae-in about nuclear disarmament. Their meeting could set the tone for the North Koreans' talks with President Trump this spring. Trump was hedging his bets on those talks in a lengthy phone call to his favorite TV news show, Fox and Friends. And the president had a few words to say on his embattled lawyer, Michael Cohen. Trump said the federal investigation into Cohen has nothing to do with him, but involved Cohen's personal business dealings.
And on Wednesday, an elderly couple was watching the sunset on Victoria Beach in Laguna when a strong wave overtook them. The husband was rescued immediately after by a Good Samaritan, but the woman's body could not be found. The search for the woman began after she was announced missing at 8:10 p.m. After hours of searching, a body was found at around 10 p.m. that was later identified as the woman who was swept away.
2 people were injured Wednesday night in Irvine after a Metrolink train struck a vehicle. According to the Orange County Fire Authority, they responded to the collision around 7 p.m. near Harvard Avenue and Irvine Center Drive. An eyewitness said that a distracted driver in a Honda Accord struck a BMW that then collided with the train. Both drivers were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Tracks were cleared and trains were running again by 8 p.m. Irvine police are continuing their investigation.
Fans of Dodger baseball are about to hit new heights. Traffic in the Chavez Ravine leading to Dodger Stadium is an infamous nightmare. Frank McCourt, a former owner of the team, has proposed a solution: a gondola from Union Station to Dodger Stadium. The 5-minute ride would give visitors aerial views of the city of Los Angeles. The cost of a ride would be cheaper than the current parking rates at the stadium. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti announced the plans at a Metropolitan Transportation Authority meeting on Thursday. If the proposal is accepted, the gondola would be ready by opening day in 2022.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but that sounds like a great attraction for a sunny weekend. Should we toss it over to Camilla, see what the weather's going to be this weekend?
Yes, I wish it was open now. Let's hear from Camilla for the weather.
Yeah, guys. Hello, everyone. I'm Camilla Ferrer, and I got all your news pertaining to the weather this week. As you can see, today we're experiencing some low 70s and a few clouds, just like we've come to expect if you've been living in the Orange County area for some time now. It is a beautiful day to head outside still and enjoy your surroundings. Moving over to our Orange County temperatures for the day, we are going to be experiencing highs anywhere between the low 60s to the low 70s. In Orange, like I said, it is a high of 71. In Mission Viejo, it is a high of 69. In Newport Beach, it's a high of 62. So you might want to bring your jacket with you because it could get a little chilly. And now heading over to our greater Southern California coast, we are going to be seeing a lot of the same with highs once again anywhere from the low 60s I just talked about to those low 70s as well. In Santa Barbara, there's a high of 70 degrees. In Los Angeles, there's a high of 69 degrees. Avalon, high of 66, and in Anaheim, a high of 72. But I will mention Palm Springs, it is 96 degrees, so for those of you going to Stagecoach this weekend, wear some sunscreen. It is going to be very, very hot. And now for our 5-day outlook here in Orange. Expect nothing but some sunny skies and a few clouds here and there. Today, like I said, a high of 71, a low of 55. On Saturday, it'll be sunny with 71 degrees and lows in 54s. On Monday, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 71 and a low in 55. And on Tuesday, mostly cloudy, high of 67 with a low in 53. I know that I am going to take advantage of the beautiful weather this week and head over to the beach to catch a few rays. I highly encourage everyone else to get outside and do the same. And now I'll be tossing it over to Tim Wolf with the Best Campus Sports Show.
Next on the Best Campus Sports Show, 2 athletes of the week. That's right, baby. It's all coming up after the break.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Emergencies and disasters happen with little or no warning and often occur while you are away from home. Be ready for emergencies by registering your alternate phone numbers, cell phones, and email addresses at alertoc.com. You will receive alerts when an emergency occurs near your workplace or neighborhood.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Tim Wolf. Lots of great stuff today. 2 athletes of the week, both with baseball players. But first, we do have a football story. When it comes to making a positive impact off the field, you'd be hard-pressed to find a team that works harder to make that happen than Chapman football. Last week, the Panthers put on the Chapman Special Games for disabled members of the community, and this week, they worked with Be the Match, an organization that works with stem cell and bone marrow donor. The stem cell and bone marrow donor list. I was there to find out more. On Tuesday, April 24th and Wednesday the 25th, the Chapman Panthers football team put on the 5th annual Be the Match drive.
For patients with blood diseases like leukemia or sickle cell disease, sometimes their best or only chance for a cure is a bone marrow or stem cell transplant. And in order for them to receive that, they need to find someone in the world who's their genetic match.
On the Chapman football side, graduating senior Diano Picciotti has been organizing the event for the last 4 years.
I'd say that it's been an amazing experience, and I definitely recommend all our younger guys to really jump on board with this program, because we've also had 2 people who signed up at our registries donate in the last 2 years, which is fantastic.
Taking the reins from Diano when he graduates is junior offensive lineman Hunter Spriggs.
70% of people who need a donation don't match with a family member, so it's really important that we sign people up and create a more comprehensive list.
For those who may think that many other people signing up is enough, Julie says that every person can be a 1 in a million match.
Matching is based on your ancestry, so you're more likely to match someone with similar ancestry as you. So it's really important that everyone come out and join the registry, especially if you have a unique ancestry. You could be someone's only match in the world and their only chance for a cure.
So the event is now over, but if you'd still like to be on the stem cell donor registry, you can head to bethematch.org. They'll send you some paperwork just like this. You fill it out, you do a swab, and just like that, you're on the stem cell donor registry, just like me and just like all the other people who signed up during Be the Match. For Chapman News, I'm Tim Wolf. And again, to sign up for that registry, that is bethematch.org/Chapman. So the Panthers' first baseman, Jared Love, set the record for career home runs by a Chapman player last Saturday, smashing his 22nd dinger in a doubleheader against Laverne. Jared's milestone earned him the title of Athlete of the Week. Our freshman reporter, Brad Benson, hosted him for one of our craziest Athlete of the Week editions that I have ever seen.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Chapman Athlete of the Week, Jared Love. He just set a Chapman record for 22 career home runs. Today, we're going to get a little dizzy. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Jared, what are the rules?
So we're going to play some dizzy bat, spin around a couple times. We're going to hit 3 baseballs off the tee. We're going to run around the bases.
Since you are Chapman's all-time leader in ding-dongs, we got 8 3 ding-dongs at the end. Fastest to do it is the winner. Okay, so you just hit your 22nd career home run, which now leaves you as the all-time leader in Chapman history. What does that mean to you?
You know, it's pretty cool, although I think the biggest accomplishment was earlier this year, I beat my roommate from last year, his all-time home run career record. And it wasn't the record, as it turns out, but it was very important to me to beat his number.
No!
You know, I think it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think he's got what it takes to beat that.
We'll see, let's go.
You got 20 seconds to shove 3 ding-dongs in your mouth. You got 10 seconds, come on!
That doesn't count. What is that?
Brad's got to go again, and here's the reason. I don't know if you can get this, but let's just look at this. You call this eating a ding-dong? I don't.
All right, so you're a senior and the end of the season is approaching. What are you gonna miss most about playing at Chapman?
The boys, the friendships. I mean, you're gonna miss the baseball and you're gonna miss the bus rides and all the practices and stuff like that, obviously, but it's mainly just the friendships that you've made and the brothers I've made on the team.
28 seconds.
You want this? Put the whole thing in your mouth.
I give up. This is why he's the athlete of the week. King of dings right there.
All right, so the athletes are gonna remain undefeated as I was unsuccessful at eating a full ding dong.
And by the way, this is how you eat a ding dong. In the mouth, not in the wrapper.
All right, well there you saw it. That is how you eat a ding dong. And back to you guys in the studio.
You know, Brad may have lost that one, but with the maximum effort we saw there and the fact that he has 3 years left here with Chapman News, it looks like the hosts have a bright future. With Panthers baseball pushing for the playoffs, we thought we'd go double trouble for Athlete of the Week. Matt Moguillon won Athlete of the Week earlier this year, but with scheduling conflicts, we couldn't shoot the segment right away. We checked back in with him, and he is still having a stellar season. So I went head-to-head with him on this week's second Athlete of the Week. With me today, long after he actually won the award for Athlete of the Week, is Matt Moguillon, starting pitcher for the Panthers baseball team. And today, we're going to make a splash on Athlete of the Week.
We get 5 opportunities to hit this target, and the most wins.
Cool. It's about the size of a strike zone, but just in case, Matt, you want to give us a little something to aim at?
Of course.
All right, let's go. He won't be so happy after we hit him in the face a bunch of times. By the way, I forgot. Since Matt pitched in the rain, we thought we needed some simulated rain. So let's rock and roll. Oh, that was nice. I think that counts. So you've brought your ERA way down from last year, and you're now at a 1.73. How have you been able to get to that level this year?
My goal is every time I get out there is put my team in a winning situation, and I have done that. And, you know, continuing forward, I hope it continues happening.
There we go.
3 for 5, so not too terrible, but also pretty good. Let's see how Tim does here, though. I'm not sure.
How do you think he's going to do?
You guys are pushing for the playoffs. You win these next 2 games, you're in for sure. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, we are super excited for this weekend. And then you always want to be in your own hands.
I nailed it on that last one, so that's got to count for something. So we originally shot this in front of my house, and my neighbor called the cops on us, but that's what we thought. Now that we're shooting this in your backyard and you won, did you call the cops for home field advantage, Matt?
Of course not. Never. I never do that to you.
So another athlete up and another host down. Maybe I should stop doing these accuracy contests because I have not won a single one of them. Thanks for joining me, Matt. You killed it.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week on Athlete of the Week. I'm Tim Wolf. Well, I think that may very well be my last chance at an Athlete of the Week victory, and with Brad coming on so strong in that last one as only a freshman, he told me he's going to be the Tom Brady to my Drew Bledsoe, but I prefer to think of myself as Peyton Manning. I'm going to win a championship in my last game. Stay tuned for next week. That's all we've got today on the Best Campus Sports Show. I'm Tim Wolf. We'll see you next week. Same Panther time, same Panther channel. Take it easy, everybody.
Coming up next, we've got everything you need to know about the royal family's newest member. Stay tuned.
Never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Unfortunately, we're starting entertainment off on a sad note again this week, now that we have a possible lead on the cause of death of Tim Bergling, better known as Avicii, who was found dead last Friday at the age of 28. Yesterday, the Rolling Stones reported his death may have been the result of suicide. Bergling's family shared a statement about the musician's death, saying he really struggled with thoughts about meaning, life, happiness, and could not go on any longer. He wanted to find peace. All around the world, people have paid their respects to Bergling with tributes at Coachella and other public gatherings. And the wait is over for those of us who can't get enough of the royal family. The youngest prince of Cambridge was born Monday, and early this morning, the royal couple finally announced his name, Louis Arthur Charles. The odds that the royal family would name their new son Louis was 33-1, making it a surprising choice, especially since Louis is a French name. But the name actually runs in the family. Louis was the name of Prince Philip's grandfather and Prince Charles's great-uncle. It's been just 4 days since Prince Louis was born, and it looks like Prince William is already feeling the pressure of being a father of three. He was seen dozing off at the Anzac Memorial Service. Prince William was joined by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who also attended the event, but they managed to stay awake the entire time. And as for the princess, at the age of 2, Charlotte has already made history. Normally, Charlotte's old order in the line of succession to the throne would change with the arrival of a new brother. But thanks to a new British law, Charlotte will be the first princess whose place in line won't be overtaken by a younger brother. And from British royalty to Hollywood royalty, yesterday Brad Pitt announced he will be producing a spotlight-style film about the New York Times' investigation into Harvey Weinstein. Pitt's production company, who bought the rights to the story, will be focusing on the story behind the women who led the investigation itself, and will not be about or centered around the man or the men behind the abuse. As of now, the film is untitled and does not have a script. Cardi B has a baby on the way, and now a lawsuit is headed her way as well. The star is on the receiving end of a lawsuit filed by her ex-manager, who claims he turned her from an Instagram wannabe to a star, and she repaid him by giving him the boot. Clenard Schaff Raphael claims that he taught her the ropes of the music business and orchestrated her relationship with VH1's Love and Hip Hop. And Schaff is saying that his contacts and personal team of writers and producers are responsible for her mega hit we all love, Bodak Yellow. Schaff is suing Cardi B for $10 million, and as of now, she has yet to comment. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, our reporter Caitlin Chan has put together a list of films that are in theaters this month, and she'll let you know which are ones you should actually go to the theater for.
We are home. It's been 2 whole months since Black Panther hit cinemas by storm. Other than that,
there's been a lull in movie choices lately, the exception being John Krasinski's A Quiet Place, which remains at the top of the box office. Wes Anderson's newest film, Isle of Dogs, was released 2 weeks ago and has been met with a stream of criticism, saying the film is culturally appropriative. It's set in an island off Japan, but is directed by a white guy, with its top-billed actors being all white, too. The storyline, on the other hand, following a boy's search for his lost dog, has been met with positive reviews. One thing is for sure, if The Rock's in your movie, you can expect it to rake in the money, whether or not it has a compelling story to tell.
Yeah, well, animals get me.
Rampage, released last Friday, brought audiences in, but left them not too happy. And lastly, Amy Schumer's I Feel Pretty, released last Friday, and the reviews have not been pretty positive. But don't worry, moviegoers, the wait is over. The highly anticipated Avengers Infinity War is debuting this weekend. The only problem? You might not get seats.
I guess I might be a little too late to get seats to Avengers of Infinity War, but just like Coachella, I'm going to give it my best shot. That's all I have for the entertainment buzz this week. Let's see what's happening over back at the desk.
That's right. We're here with Brittany Simmons again this week, and she has all the internet news.
Yes. After hearing a little bit about the royal family from Mo, I decided to look at what the internet was saying about them too. So I have a special royal edition of the internet segment this week.
Fantastic. Let's take a look.
So let's get started.
Check her
First
mic.
up, a psychic banana. Yep, you heard me. A psychic banana. As the world waited for the royal baby, two hosts on a British talk show
decided to predict the gender of the baby themselves, using nothing other than a piece of fruit. Take a look.
Most important questions of the day.
It's on now.
Is she going to have a boy or a girl?
So psychic banana.
Psychic banana. Remember, if it's a dot, it's a no. So I'm going to say, is she going to have a boy?
Right.
If it's a dot, it's a no. If it's a Y, obviously we know that's a yes. So, is the Duchess of Cambridge going to have a boy? It's a yes. It's a yes.
So let's cross over to Camilla
I said
Tominey,
that.
who's outside the
It's a
Linda
boy.
wing for us.
I definitely need a psychic banana to help me predict my future. Next up, people on Twitter were a little shook over how good Kate Middleton looked after giving birth. Let's take a look at some of the best tweets I found online. One Twitter user at TS O'Toole said, "Wait, she had the royal baby, walked out and showed it to everyone, then went home? I ate fast food yesterday and couldn't leave the couch." Another user at Smile Gina used Kate's picture and a meme to describe her relatable homework experience, with the caption, "Kate Middleton after pushing out a whole ass baby versus me after writing the title of an essay." And lastly, at Ellie Jane Taylor compared her day with Kate's in a tweet saying, "Kate Middleton's day, 11 a.m., birth human. 4 p.m., blow dry and full makeup. 6 p.m., present new air to media looking red carpet ready. Me, 11 a.m., wake up, eat cheese. 4 p.m., put bra on. 6 p.m., take bra off, eat cheese. Hashtag royal baby." Lastly, imagine if after having a baby, you walked outside and were immediately greeted with hundreds of cameras. Well, for two couples, this is exactly what happened after they walked out of the same hospital as Kate on Monday. The Onion couples definitely took advantage of the hundreds of photographers outside. The first couple took a photo with their newborn baby, and then after checking it out, asked if they could take another one. They additionally took a photo of the press, following the motto, "Pics or it didn't happen." The second couple also posed with their new baby outside of the building, taking in their 5 minutes of fame and also getting a free family portrait at the same time. Well, that's all the internet news I have for you today. That's great. I mean, I had no idea that bananas could tell the future. Fortune-telling fruit's a new idea.
I never would have thought a psychic banana would have predicted the royal baby.
Right? It's
Wow.
crazy.
Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
again
you
today.
for having me.
Thank
Yes.
you. Well, log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Chapman News to see all of our episodes, Chapman Newsy bios, and top headlines.
And make sure you also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chapman News. And don't forget about YouTube at youtube.com/Chapman News.
That's all we've got for you this afternoon. This has been Brandon Lance Garnsey.
And I'm Kat Adcock. Be sure to tune in next week to our show, Live at Noon.
Have a fantastic weekend, you guys.